Coming up next on News Channel 13 Live at 11, police investigate a fatal shooting in Schoharie County. And the body of a little boy who got lost looking for his dog in a snowstorm is found today. That story's next, live at 11. A shooting claims a life in a small New York town tonight. Parents and teachers are working on their list of demands for the state, and stopping violence in schools tops everyone's list. And the Pope says he's ready to break a rule for Mother Teresa. Live at 11 starts now.
This is News Channel 13, live at 11.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Carmen Dexter. The police in western Schoharie County are being careful as they investigate a deadly shooting tonight. That shooting occurred at a home in the small hamlet of Dorlew in the town of Seward, just west of Cobleskill. We will have more on this story and a live report coming up in just a minute. Well, there is some very sad news today for the family of a little boy lost in last Thursday's snowstorm in eastern Massachusetts. Today, searchers found the body of 9-year-old Corey Anderson, who had been missing since Thursday when he left his house in a snowstorm to look for the family dog. After an extensive search in a 3-mile radius around the home, the boy's body was found just 150 yards from his house.
To be honest, I didn't think we were going to find him today because I had been here since Friday morning, and I just thought that the terrain was impenetrable for a boy of that age.
Emergency workers say they searched the area several times before, but a piece of the boy's clothing caught their eye today. The search lasted 3 days and involved more than 200 people. Police in Vermont continue to investigate a car accident in North Clarendon that left 2 men dead. The victims were found yesterday where their vehicle struck a tree off of Route 7. However, that accident may have happened as early as Thursday night. The names of the 2 men are not being released. Well, we may see some slick roads for the morning commute. Meteorologist Paul Caiano joins us now with a first look at the forecast. Paul?
All right, Carmen, thanks. Yes, we had some wet weather today, and in some places some sleet and even some wet snow mixed in, and that's what we'll have over the next 12 to 24 hours as our weather will remain unsettled. The sunrise tomorrow morning, 6:31 a.m. We'll see a little light rain or snow around the area with temperatures hovering around the freezing point. Now, we will not see snow and rain all day. It may look like that on the graphic here, but just on and off rain and snow showers. We'll call it unsettled as temperatures will be chilly with the breeze only in the mid-30s, 5:45 p.m. The sunset. Really, we're looking for an improvement in the weather pattern, but we really have to go a little bit further along until we get that improvement, probably till the end of the week, as the storm system, which we're watching, will continue to wind up and sit over us at least for the next couple of days. We'll have the details in the forecast and the plays of the week in weather. It's all going to be coming up in just a few moments. Carmen.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul. And as we told you at the top of the show, police in western Schoharie County are being careful as they investigate a deadly shooting tonight. That shooting taking place at a home in the small hamlet of Dorlew in the town of Seward. That is all just west of Cobleskill. That's where Kelly Lynch joins us now live with more on this situation. Kelly?
Well, Carmen, police are keeping very, very quiet on this. We do know one person is dead, another is in police custody. Neighbors tell us the victim is Bob Thompson, a father of 3 in his mid-20s. They also say he was shot by his housemate, a man in his 50s named Wes Dunn. The two apparently had an argument when Dunn allegedly went out to his truck and grabbed a shotgun. Neighbors who were home at the time say they heard the shots and they came right outside.
Basically heard a noise, but didn't even really recognize it as a gunshot, and heard screaming next door. We're trying to...
Well, neighbors say they've had problems with this family and they've heard loud arguments, they've heard fighting. Now, Wes Dunn is in custody tonight. Police say he has so far not been charged. Again, police have not confirmed any of the details we've reported. These are just neighbors recounting what happened earlier tonight. Carmen.
All right, Kelly, I'm sure more information will become available from police tomorrow. Thank you. Homeowners have just one more day to apply for the STAR tax relief forms. The STAR program allows New York homeowners to significantly lower the school tax they have to pay by chopping off tens of thousands from their home's assessed value. Homeowners need to file their applications with the county assessor's office by 5 o'clock tomorrow, or you'll have to wait another year, but there are some exceptions. Homeowners in Saratoga Springs, Troy, and Mechanicville have been given until June 1st to apply. The New York State PTA is holding its Legislative Education Conference in Albany this weekend. As John Allen reports, the organization is hoping to prioritize educational issues to pass on to state legislators as they work on next year's budget.
We have 375,000 members in New York State and almost 7 million across the nation. And our only vested interest is in kids.
And with that vested interest in mind, this annual Legislation Education Conference is intended to focus on priorities the PTA will pass on to state legislators as they consider new legislation, particularly next year's state budget.
We would like to see 50% of the support for education come from the state, and we're not there yet. Some school districts get far less. I'm from a school district that only gets 21%.
But there is another issue here that may even take priority over funding.
Above and beyond the funding issues of education, we're concerned about our children's safety.
The head of the governor's task force on school violence, Lieutenant Governor Mary Donahue, is the keynote speaker here, and she hopes to hear from PTA members on their ideas for solutions.
Certainly the governor and my first priority is that children are safe in the school. If they're not safe, they can't learn.
Donahue says she hopes to report back to the governor on her findings about solutions to school violence before the summer. The PTA has been advocating for students for 102 years, and now members say their support of children in our schools is more important than ever.
Parents need to be involved. Research shows that student achievement increases if parents are more involved with their kids' education.
And these parents intend to make their involvement known. They'll make their voices heard at a meeting with state lawmakers on March 23rd. In Albany, John Allen, News Channel 13.
The area's most prominent college basketball team is a step closer to championship glory. Today, the Siena Saints advanced to the finals of the MAC tournament that is being played in Buffalo. Our sports staff, of course, has been following every bucket, and Mark Mullholland joins us now from the newsroom with a look at today's action. Mark?
Carmen, the Siena Saints are just one win from College Hoops' version of Mecca. That's the NCAA Division I basketball tournament. The Saints advanced to the MAC championship game with an exciting win over Marist. Siena took a 15-point lead with 9 minutes left in today's semifinal game on Marcus Faison's dunk here on the fast break. But that lead evaporated when Marist went on a 9-0 run. It came down to the final possession. Marist needed a 3 to tie, but settled for a 2. Siena beats Marist 66-65. Now, if the Saints can beat St. Peter's in tomorrow night's championship game, they'll get their first berth in the NCAA tourney since the 1988-89 season. The Siena women's team lost by 2 points in tonight's championship game. We'll have a live report from Buffalo tonight on Big Board Sports. Carmen?
All right, thank you very much, Mark Mullholland, live in the newsroom. A racist remark gets New Jersey's top cop fired today. We'll have more on that when Live at 11 returns. Later on, we'll tell you who the new Miss Teen New York is. But before that, we will be taking you to church.
The old round church here in Richmond, Vermont really isn't round at all. It has 16 sides. It's an interesting story. I'm Steve Scoville. I'll tell you about it coming up.
Check out News Channel 13 online with MSNBC and NBCIN.
Welcome back. The Superintendent of State Police in New Jersey is stepping down amidst controversy. The Star-Ledger of Newark quotes Superintendent Carl Williams as saying he doesn't condone racial profiling, but that race is definitely a factor when it comes to drug crimes. Williams has also been under fire lately over accusations that New Jersey State Police target certain minorities for traffic stops. Governor Christie Whitman called for Williams' resignation, saying his comments went against the state's efforts to increase the public's confidence in the state police. Israel's top general says his country is retaliating by land, sea, and air against Lebanese guerrillas. The group Hezbollah claimed responsibility for detonating 2 bombs beside an Israeli military convoy in South Lebanon today. The blast killed a brigadier general and 3 other Israelis. Israeli warplanes then launched raids on suspected guerrilla hangouts in southern and eastern Lebanon. Pope John Paul II has waived the mandatory wait of 5 years after death to begin the process of possible sainthood for Mother Teresa. The Pope had previously indicated the 5-year wait would be required even for the internationally beloved nun, but a Vatican spokesman says the demand was so great the Holy Father thought to go ahead. Tonight, as we wrap up our month-long series on historic churches, Steve Scoville takes us to Richmond, Vermont for a visit to the Old Round Church.
It sure isn't your average-looking house of worship. The Old Round Church in Richmond, Vermont has stood here since 1813, its white wood siding gleaming in the Green Mountain State sun. It's a church that was owned by a handful of denominations, all at the same time.
The original 5 denominations were Methodist, Universalist, Baptist, Christian, and Congregationalist. And some people say that this is the first multi-denominational church in the country.
A look around inside the Old Round Church is really a look around. There are standard box pews here, but they're all set up in the middle of a huge circular room. From the outside, the structure is really a 16-sided polygon, and legend has it that each wall was built by a different worker.
There's more than one story to why the church is round. Some people say it was to keep the devil from hiding in the corners inside the church. Other people say it was to keep the enemy from hiding around the corner outside the church.
When the different religions built their own churches in other parts of Richmond, the Old Round Church became a gathering place during Vermont's well-known town meeting. It's even the logo on town trucks. But weathered by time, the church was in such disrepair in the 1970s that it was considered unsafe for public use.
The fire marshal came out and said, the wood stoves are probably okay, but I'm going to shut down the church and condemn it because structurally it doesn't meet code.
The Richmond Historical Society runs the church building now and got a $40,000 federal grant to make repairs all around and up in the roof.
The original design of the church was a little faulty, and the structural engineer made it so we had to reinforce it a little. And you can see we turned these, with the plywood, we turned what was 2 parallel beams into a giant box beam, which gave a lot more support.
The steeple was taken off the church and repaired years ago. A good move because more than 40 weddings are held here each year.
Well, I ring the bells for the weddings, the ones that want a bell rung. And I've been ringing the bell for 25 years, and I give it a little kick to get it going.
And when the bell rings, the Old Round Church, now a national landmark, is a church once again. Steve Scoville, News Channel 13, Richmond, Vermont.
Well, you may want to take it easy on the roads tomorrow. Paul's up next with a very wet first morning forecast. But first, a look at tonight's winning lottery numbers.
Weather on News Channel 13 is sponsored in part by Raymore and Flanagan.
And Paul is back now with a check of the weather. I don't know about your house, but I don't think the rain stopped today at my house.
Certainly not. Once it started, that was it.
Kept going.
We do have some breaks in the area, but another round is coming in. We'll cover that in just a moment. First, let's check the plays of the week in the weather for you to plan your work week or school week. We'll have an overview of what's going to happen, at least at this point. Seems to be pretty unsettled. Monday through Thursday, a little bit of light rain and snow showers. No big storms at the beginning of the week in terms of accumulating snows, but it will be kind of dreary right on through at least the first 3 to 4 days. Kind of chilly as well with the highs only in the 30s. Perhaps, we'll keep our fingers crossed, some sun by Friday. Well, a busy night with lots of rain around, even some wet snow mixing in. If you saw Kelly Lynch out in Schoharie County, some wet snow mixing in there just to the west of Cobleskill. Right here in Albany, 34 degrees with the rain. A north wind at 7, the dew point is 33, and the wind chill is 26. So a bit chilly outside and raw with the rain falling at the 11 o'clock hour. The barometer falling at 29.34. We made it up to 41 today. That was before the rain began early this morning. Then temperatures fell off into the mid-30s. They've been there ever since. A morning low of 22 late last night. 37 and 18 are the normals, 63 and 10 below the records. Now, temperatures around the area are at or a couple of degrees above the freezing point. You could see the Adirondacks, Saranac Lake, Plattsburgh checking in with 32, some wet snow here, some wet snow and some sleet in the nooks and crannies of the Adirondacks and on over into the Green Mountains of Vermont. Plain rain right here in Albany, but again, the outlying areas could see some wet snow mix in tonight. And with a pool of cooler air moving in aloft, we will see some of that rain change over to wet snow, perhaps accumulating in northern and western portions of our viewing area by tomorrow morning. The Doppler radar full tonight, and you can see now just some breaks in the southern Berkshires, in the North Country in and around Glens Falls, Washington County, but another batch of rain is poised to our south and will continue to work its way in here, and that will bring us some more heavy rain during the overnight period, and in some cases, some wet snow. Let's check the pinpoint radar, and first the wide view. You can see in and around the Albany area some light to a moderate rain, some heavier rain to the south. Northward, though, some breaks. We'll check in with, well, let's go to southern portions of Saratoga County, in and around Schenectady County as well. Scotia, Schenectady, some heavier rains here in the yellow color. A break along I-90, in and around exit 24, Altamont, the hill towns of Albany County, some heavier rain. And we'll move to the south now, and in and around Hudson, some heavier rain passed through the area. Just to the north of Catskill and Hudson, some of the darker greens. So if you're traveling south tonight on the thruway, be prepared to see some of those heavier rains. We'll go back to the bigger map now, and you can see the big batch of rain moved through today. That has moved off of the eastern seaboard, breaks over us now. But look at this next developing area of rain, kind of make a left turn and heading right up the Hudson Valley, and that will be in our area as low pressure develops. This will be a big storm and develop right over us and move up the Hudson Valley with unsettled weather in the form of rain and wet snow over the next 24 hours. It'll be windy and unsettled at least through the beginning of Tuesday. We'll return with the forecast in just a few moments.
Raymore and Flanagan Furniture rescues you from monthly payments and fat finance charges with the Mark of Zero. Make zero payments of any kind until the year 2000. Think of it. Save store-wide today and enjoy zero money down, zero interest charges, zero monthly payments. Your new furniture costs you nothing until 2000 with the Mark bankers fear most. The Mark of Zero. Only from Raymore and Flanagan. Now through Monday.
For the remainder of tonight, we'll see rain. Could be heavy at times and may mix with wet snow or sleet, especially in the higher elevations where I would not be surprised to see an inch or two of that sloppy, slushy stuff on the ground tomorrow morning. Temperatures are ranging between 29 and 34. And then for the day tomorrow, not much better. Cloudy and breezy. Scattered rain and snow showers, again, could coat the ground. Readings between 34 and 39. Tomorrow night, cloudy, breezy, more of the same. Snow showers, temperatures in the 20s. And Tuesday, you think we get a break, perhaps a few breaks of sunshine, but again, still unsettled. Scattered snow showers, windy, cool, 35 to 40. And again, we'll watch yet another system trek its way across the nation and reach us by Thursday with some rain and snow, 34. Perhaps a few breaks by Friday, but we're in an active period here in the Northeast, and we stand to see some unsettled weather at least for the next 2 or 3 days.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Looks like tomorrow night will be a good night to stay indoors and watch basketball.
Yeah,
You're in Buffalo.
Appropriately enough, yeah. The Siena College basketball team doing quite well in Buffalo, and we'll go to Roger Weiland, who is in Buffalo with the Siena College men's and women's basketball teams tonight on Big Board Sports. Plus, we'll also have the Knicks and the Yankees, but we'll lead off with Knicks and the Yankees. Not this time of year, the Knicks and the Rangers.